Howdy all you humdingers, it's me Kim. Welcome to my channel, Discovering My True North, where I talk about my health journey, my weight loss journey, my personal journey, my postmenopausal journey, my empty nester journey, all the things. And life just keeps getting better. Life after 50, it has just been amazing. And I'm here to show you that life can get even better than you ever imagined. It doesn't mean life is over, that life is wonderful, and you can thrive, and you can reinvent yourself, and you can recreate yourself at any age, at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1,000. Yeah, go for it. In this life, next life, I don't know. I don't know. But this video I'm particularly excited about. But I'm going to open it up at the beginning of the weekend before last. I've got some things to catch up on. Life's been super busy. Work has been super busy. Like I said before, we had to hire someone. We hired a wonderful, amazing individual that's working out so great. But there's just a lot of work that goes along with hiring someone. And then I have some new things in my life too. And more dreams realized, more dreams that have come true. But I'll open it up with going to Tomah, Wisconsin to see my daughter Emily and my mom, which is always so wonderful. I love it. I actually bought a couch out there that folds out into a bed because I was tired of air mattresses, because when I go out there I spend a good 3-4 days out there, and I wanted to be comfortable, and so I bought this couch. I don't have a picture of it, but it folds out into a bed, so it gave Mom some more seating area too, which she needed. She's happy with the situation, but it also gives me a really cozy place to sleep, and I love sleeping on the floor, but it just happens to be very comfortable. It's like a memory foam. But anyway, went to see them. We went to Mexican. Is usually the first thing we do when I go out there is I go to this Mexican place called Cancun Restaurant, and they're as authentic Mexican, and it's fantastic. Even though we're in a small Wisconsin town, it's wonderful when you can find something that authentic. So I have the fajita bowl there, which is like, I think it's their original. Fajitas aren't original, but the way they do it is very original. They put kielbasa. It's like 2 different types of sausage, beef, chicken, peppers, mushrooms, cheese. Oh my goodness, it's incredible. Of course, I skipped the tortillas. But I mean, it's such a huge bowl, as you can see if I put the picture up. It's so good. And it's a wonderful way to do keto, which is great. But me and Emily, when we get together, we always play. We either do, like I showed you last week, we do Legos, but we also like to hit the playground. This time we played ball. I love those big plastic balls you get from Walmart. And then we hit the swing set. And the neat thing is that there's been a lot of years where I really couldn't do anything but sit in a chair. And it was all about getting from the car to the chair, because I had 2 knees that were bone on bone. And like I said, and you're going to hear me talk about it a lot, how I got both knees replaced. And I actually have pictures and things. I'll do a whole video on that, because I think that definitely deserves its own video, the knee replacements. So I will definitely include that at some point in the future. But it's going to be a lot. But like I said, me and Emily play, and I've always played a lot. I'm just a big kid at heart. But especially now that my knees are fixed and they're perfect. And I even have friends who say, can you go do this or that? Your knees. And I'm like, my knees are better than yours. I have brand new knees put in there by robots. So anyway, I think I told you last time how we swing, but then it's like a workout, especially when you go for a long time because you're pulling and pushing, and you're using your hips and your core. It's just amazing if you can get yourself on a swing set. It's so much fun. Um, I had so because my knees are fixed, I've been so active and just enjoying life. And I don't know, since I'm older, the weight loss has definitely helped my confidence. But even before the weight loss, I was feeling more confidence. Just just not really caring what people think and just loving who I am and just saying, I'm going to live my life. I'm not going to not live my life because I'm afraid someone's going to see me way overweight. If you look around you in America, everybody's overweight. I mean, it's not we're not that different anymore. But so I've been way more active. I did finally, and I want to do a workout video too. I did buy those adjustable weights I was telling you about, and they're pretty darn cool. These were pretty cheap. I think they were like $40. They're not the best quality, but it's about working with what you have, and it's weight. So I have been slowly but surely working my way into the strength training land, and these work out pretty good. I was pretty excited about it. So I bought a kayak. I did it. I told you I was gonna do it. Dick's Sporting Goods. It was 50% off. I got one that you sit up on top, because I don't like putting my legs into something, because I feel like if I turn over in it, that my legs are going to be stuck in there. So, I bought the kayak, and then I was like, I had kind of been contemplating it a little bit beforehand. I was like, what am I going to do with it? Because I live in a one-bedroom apartment. And so I was like, where am I going to put this? Well, the logical answer was in my office, of course, at work. So I brought this monstrosity into my office. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? There's a whole wall of mirrors. There's all my Lego botanicals on my desk, and I lost control of the kayak first thing, and it caught a couple of my botanicals. The pieces went everywhere. I think I said some swear words, but I was still smiling because I was just so excited about the damn kayak. First of all, I didn't know how I was going to get it in the van. I got it in there. I had to pull over in a church parking lot to try to get the seat down more because when they loaded it at Dick's Sporting Goods, it's like I couldn't see out the windows. So here I am in a church parking lot. Cars are all in there, they're obviously having service. And I'm in there trying to make more room in the van. I did end up making more room for it, but so I brought it to the office right away because what else you gonna do, right? I didn't want it to get stolen out of the van. So here it is in the office. Legos are everywhere. I'm smiling like a frickin' Cheshire cat. And of course, I was able to put all the botanicals Legos together because I have a weird brain. I know exactly how every single Lego set that I put together is put together without the instructions. That's a weird brag. I'm not really bragging. But so I was able to put those together. Don't worry. And then my employees came the next day, and they're like, "Whoa!" and the customers, and so it became like this conversation piece, and people were like, just gobstruck. Is that the right word? They were just like gobsmacked. Maybe that's the one. And the customers, they're so precious. They were like, "Whoa, Kim, what'd you do? What'd you get?" And they just kept coming in there to see it. And it was a lovely, just a way for us all to like, we were communicating. And so I wasn't going to leave it in there. I was going to, and one of my employees said, well, there's the storage room. There's probably plenty of room in there if you should maybe do that. So that is what I ended up doing. But I decided to leave it in there for a couple of days. Um, yeah, but and I knew I was going to Wisconsin again the weekend after. So this video will contain activities from 2 different weekends. Um, so I went out the next weekend, and I went to Toma, Wisconsin, because my cousins had invited me out on the water to go kayaking with them on the Kickapoo River, which is in Ontario, Wisconsin, not the one in Canada. But so that was the one thing about this day that was special to me. I was able, and my cousins were right there. They're like going to help me. I said, no, 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 please. I really want to try this myself. So, and it took some doing, but I got in the kayak on my own. And after I capsized it, I got in my kayak on the river on my own. And then when it came to landing, getting to the landing and going home, I got off my kayak on my own. I did need help dragging it up because I didn't realize that one of the holes were not capped off like they were supposed to, and it was halfway full of water. So I had been on the river and it was filling up with water. It was still floating me. But so it was pretty heavy, and it took 3 of us just to barely get it up that boat landing. But we kayaked for 5 hours that day, and I never got to where I was like, when is this going to end? Oh my gosh, when is this going to end? Because there are what we do is we drive our vehicles to the end place. So when we get out, we can bring our kayaks, load them, and then drive up to the beginning where somebody else's vehicle is. That's to avoid paying them to take us back to our vehicle. And so we're bringing, like, there were 5 of us all together. So 5 big kayaks, and all of us. So it worked out really well. But I never got sick of it. I was like, no, we're at the end already. After, you would think 5 hours, but we love it so much that the time just goes by like that. But anyway, I just really wanted to show you or share that with you. It's a dream come true, knowing that I have my own kayak, will travel. And of course I bought the life vest. I will not get in the water on a boat without a PFD, personal flotation device. My uncle told me when he first heard, this was years ago, he heard that I was going to be kayaking. He said, don't you dare go out on that water without a life vest. And I never have. And I never will. Even when I was tubing, I had my life vest on, even though the tube is pretty much a life vest. But you just don't know what's going to happen. You got to make sure. I researched and I made sure the life vest was approved by some association that I can't think of right now. And, that way it will flip you over onto your back if you end up in the water. So, yeah. So much fun. I encourage you don't have to go kayaking if you don't want to, but just encourage you to get out and take some risks, some calculated risks, some chances, and do some things that you haven't done before. It can be anything. It can be something that's small. It could be a meetup for game board night. I really encourage you to get out there. I feel so alive, more than I ever have in my whole life. I spent a lot of years raising children, which was wonderful. And I wouldn't change it, anything, erase any of that for anything in the world. But I am so unbelievably alive and happy, and it's amazing. I'm single, and even though I would like to share my life with someone, that's not like the whole focus of my life right now. I'm just kind of enjoying myself. And then, I just figure while I'm out there living, maybe something will happen. Maybe I'll find that right person who is alive as much as I am. Or friendships. I'm making so many friendships now that other people who are interested in similar things to me, and some aren't, but they have things that I'm trying that are new to me because they love it. And because, when you're friends with somebody, you want to kind of experience what they're doing. And sometimes, so gosh, what else can I say? You can do it. Anybody can get out there and live. And I guess it's important that I get that message across because, and I am projecting because, for so many years, especially once the kids were grown, I was like, who am I now? If I'm not a mother, yes, I know we're always mothers, but when that purpose and that job is fulfilled, then what? And then it's a wonderful time to just reinvent yourself and say, hey, you know what? I'm single and childless. Let's do some things for ourselves. I go to the movies by myself. I enjoy it. I eat my weight in popcorn. Even on keto, there are times when I'll do that. And I'll just sit there and it's just lovely. Or I'll go to the restaurant by myself and treat myself to a steak. I have to share this story with you. So I went to Texas Roadhouse. They have the best steak on the face of the earth. Let me tell you what. Their ribeyes. And there was a long wait. And they said, well, there's no wait if you want to sit at the bar. So I went to the bar. I was like, well, I'm alone anyway, right? I went to the bar. And there were 4 or 5 people, men and women, who were single, and they were just eating by themselves, and they were all like, "You're by yourself too?" Yeah, and we were all just got to talking, and then pretty soon, because it was like an L-shaped bar, I was on this side, and they were, you know what I mean? So it was like it was very easy for us to talk and look at each other. So we ended up like this tiny little micro community of empty nesters or divorcees. There were people talking about their divorces and how they were alone, and that we were all glad that we had talked to each other. I sat right next to a lady who had bad knees, and she was scared to have them done. And I had one done. And I was encouraging her, and she said, oh man, I think I'm going to go for it. And I said, you have to do it because you have the entire rest of your life. And it's been life-changing for me. I've been dancing and kayaking and hiking. Some other things I'm going to show you in the next video that happened this last weekend, because I actually went to South Carolina, but I have a lot of footage and I need to get this out there. But yes. But anyway, I think I will let that be it for now. I just, yes, life's good. All right. Well, I will see you on the next time. I will see you next time on the flip side. How about that?